This is the first talk on meditation. Just like yesterday, I did tell you the important parts of learning how to relax your body. And then when your body is relaxed, it's much easier to get some quiet states of mind. And to emphasize the goal of the meditation, if there is any goal at all, is to learn how to become still. Now I know that sometimes that people start talking about insight and concentration and all of this stuff. Please understand that none of those things has much to do about meditation. Especially the word concentration was a very unfortunate translation made over 100 years ago for this word called samadhi. It does not mean concentration. And if you start trying to concentrate, you'll be going in the opposite direction to the path of meditation. You'll be struggling, striving, putting forth too much control. Your mind will get tense. You'll never have any peace. In fact, people who do concentration usually end up getting frustrated and angry and shouting at people. It's the wrong type of meditation. Instead, the word does mean stillness. And if you can understand that this meditation retreat is learning how to become as still as possible, both physically and mentally and emotionally, you can understand just all these different techniques which we describe to bring your mind to stillness. So, the basic understanding of how to be still comes from my master Ajahn Brahm. These are what he said. I don't make these things up myself. And if you go back to see, just in the teachings of the Buddha, you'll find it's right there, very clear. And this is actually why that people sometimes ask, did Ajahn Brahm teach vipassana? Did he teach concentration? He taught stillness, samadhi. And if you want to know what stillness is, I do this little exercise every retreat. And Bodhidharma, you can be my assistant on this little demonstration. You've seen it done before, many of you. I've got some water in my cup here. I'm now going to hold the water perfectly still. The goal is to keep this water still. Venerable Bodhidharma, have I got this water to be still yet? Oh yeah, because I'm not paying attention, I should be mindful. So I'm now mindful of the water. Has it stopped moving yet?
Nope.
So it's because I haven't been putting effort in. So now I'm going to put effort in. I really am trying, honest. How is it going?
It's moving even more.
Exactly, this always happens. When you put effort in, it moves more. And for many of you, you may try your whole meditating life trying to hold the water still, and you will just get frustrated and you'll give up. You'll say, oh, I can't meditate. Meditation is too difficult. Maybe somebody else, but not me. It's nothing to do with you. You haven't understood how to meditate. So how can I keep this water perfectly still? It's so easy. You just put it down and let it go. What can be more easy than that? And now, Venerable Bodhidharma, it's still moving.
A little bit.
Just wait for a while. You've got to wait, you've got to be patient. You can't expect us to come here and get enlightened in the first day. Otherwise you'll have nothing else to do for the rest of the 8 days. It's going to take some time, okay? You've got to be patient and wait. Now.
There we go. Still.
There, now it is still. I could never ever hold it that still. That's almost perfectly still. You can see, because the reflection of the lights, any movement, I can actually see it. It amplifies the movement. That's actually perfectly still. And it's so easy to do. Was that hard for me to do, to keep that water still? Once I know how to do it, it's the easiest thing in the world. Letting it go. Stop controlling. Leaving it be. Don't interfere. Renouncing all this wanting stuff. Stop attaching, holding, grasping onto it. Just let it be with kindness. The door of my heart's open to you, no matter what you ever do. Gentleness. These are all those words you hear again and again about meditation, and now you just see what it means and what happens. That is your job, to let go, and the glass of water becomes still all by itself. The way that Ajahn Brahm would describe it so many times, you've heard me do it so many times, he'd get up his hand and he'd start waving it around, and he would say, this is a leaf on a tree, and the only reason it moves is because there's a wind somewhere blowing, and if that wind stopped, the leaf would move less and less. You have to be patient, and after a while the leaf on the tree will become perfectly still. The reason is that is the nature of a leaf, to be still. It only moves because something outside of itself is disturbing it, is agitating it. And he said that is the same with the human mind. Its nature is to be still. Only there are what I call the winds of wanting something. That is what makes your mind move. And if you can only stop wanting something, then when you're perfectly content, not a want in the world going on in your mind is still moving. You've got to wait a bit longer. But it moves less and less and less until it becomes perfectly still. And you did nothing. You just let go, disengaged, allowed it to be, stopped grasping, holding on to this mind, put it down, and it becomes still, all by itself. Now that is how we become still. When people then ask, well, Ajahn Brahm, what about inside? Is it just about becoming still? Is that it? Aren't we supposed to get enlightened and understand things and the nature of reality? Yes. You look at any of the lakes, or no, the one over there is more like a puddle than a lake. But if there is a lake up in the mountains and there is any waves on the surface of that lake, you cannot see the reflection of anything around it. Because of the waves, it distorts the reflection. But sometimes you may have the opportunity to go trekking up in the mountains somewhere and come across a mountain lake which is perfectly tranquil, without even a small wave on the surface at all. And that lake becomes like a mirror, like a sheet of glass, which perfectly reflects the mountains and the forests and the moon and the stars in the heavens above. Everything gets perfectly reflected, only on a surface of a lake which is perfectly still. And that is one of the best similes for how stillness gives rise to understanding. Only when you are still will the mind perfectly reflect the truth of things. Samadhi pachaya yata bhutayana dasana, said the Buddha. I know most of you, probably none of you understand Pali, but what that means, the Buddha said it many times, is from stillness. Stillness is its cause. You see things as they truly are. When there's any lack of stillness, your mind distorts the truth. You can't really see accurately the moon and the stars and the heavens surrounding you. So that's why that stillness becomes what we do here. And the insight comes quite naturally. And the mindfulness becomes stronger the more you are still. The other part of meditation, which is so well known these days, is the word mindfulness. It's only the last 4 or 5 years it's become really mainstream. And I always call it like intellectual property theft from the Buddhists, because we invented it, and all the therapists have stolen it from the Buddhists. They don't even, usually if they quote sort of some passage from my book, at least they put little accreditation that comes from opening the door of your heart or something. So at least they should actually say that this comes from Buddhism. But nevertheless, mindfulness is very, very popular these days. But of course, because they didn't invent it, don't know too much about it. They don't know as much as Buddhist monks, meditating monks and nuns know. Mindfulness is fueled by stillness. The more still you are, the more powerful is your mindfulness. If you think of mindfulness like the sun, at night time the sun is not there, you can't see very clearly at all. Even now in the early morning, it's still not that bright. In the middle of the day, this place is illuminated, you can see everything. Like the sun's light has got to its peak, so you can see and experience so much. Your mindfulness is still quite dull. It hasn't woken up yet. It hasn't got its energy yet. And it's stillness which gives it that energy. It makes it very, very, very strong. And I love these stories. It's not really a very good story to say today, but it's one I always repeat on meditation retreats to give you an understanding of what's going on. And that is the walk up from the bottom of the hill to the top. If you went up there this morning, you'll see the fire trucks and blackened stumps of trees, because again, that bushfire this morning at the bottom of the hill. It's not a good day to go up. But some years ago, many years ago actually, when I did lots of exercise, these days I'm getting old, and so you don't have much energy left, so you've got to preserve it. So I try not to do too much exercise, because the more energy I use today, I won't have much for later on. Well, that's my theory in life. You've only got a certain amount of energy in life. If you use it all up when you're young, you've got nothing left when you're old. So preserving. Anyway, no, I do actually do exercise. I was up and down that hill last night for the fire trucks. But anyway, so one day, a beautiful spring morning, came back early from some appointment, and so I told the driver, let me off at the bottom of the hill, I want to walk up. It's very difficult in my situation to get any exercise anyway, because everybody said, no, take a lift, come, get in the car. So no, but it's good merit for us to give you a lift. So, that's why you killed me. Well, not really, I'm very healthy. But anyway, so I managed to talk the driver to let me out and let me walk for a change. So I walked from the bottom of the hill to the top here. It's only 2 and a bit kilometers. Now I have been living here at that time for 7, 8 years. Up and down that road in the car, so many times. This is where I've lived for about 31 years now. And when I walked, instead of looking through the window of a car, everything looks so different. Really different. It was such a contrast to what I remembered that I wondered whether I was walking on the right hillside. I could not recognize the surroundings of the road in which I've lived for 7 years when I was walking instead of looking through the window of a car. That surprised me, so quite naturally you could understand that I just stopped. Stood still and just stared, and then it changed again. What I saw when I was standing still was more detail. I could see more things which I haven't noticed before, and what I saw was becoming more and more beautiful. I never seen that hillside so beautiful as when I just stopped and stared for a few minutes. And you wonder why, what's happening? And the answer is pretty simple physiology of the eye, the organ of sight. When you're looking through the window of a car which is speeding, light comes and hits the back of your eye, and before that image properly forms, it's a chemical reaction on the back of your retina. Before it properly finishes or formulates, another image comes up, pushes out the first, and so the eye has to deal with the second, and another image comes up, and another image comes up. Not one image is properly formed. So, it's the colours are washed out, and there's no detail. But when I was walking, the images had more time, so I could actually see more, but nothing was as good as standing perfectly still. Then the light could actually form the proper image in the back of my eye. All the details sort of started to emerge, and the colours were rich, they were full, not so 10-20%. And that's why it looked really beautiful, and I could see so much more detail. And that is a great simile of how stillness gives rise to insight, to seeing more deeply than you've ever seen before, but also how it gives rise to happiness as well. What you see becomes more beautiful. So when you do cultivate this stillness throughout this retreat, that is what you can expect to happen. Your awareness, your mindfulness starts to increase in strength. You can start to see more things. It's not like walking in the dark anymore. It's like walking in the bright sunlight. You see so much more of what's out there, and also what's in here too. And what you see, surprise, surprise, is more delightful. You start to get happy meditations. That is the nature of this mindfulness. When it gets strong, it comes along with happiness, with piti sukha in the Pali. So this is just an overview of what's going to be happening here. Developing stillness by letting things go, and you will find your awareness gets stronger and stronger and stronger. When it gets stronger, it allows you to let go more, because there's some things which you're hanging on to, you haven't let go of, you're controlling, which you just can't see at this stage. As a mindful gets stronger, you start to say, what am I holding on that for? You sort of put things down, you let them go more, which means you go deeper into stillness, deeper into powerful mindfulness, deeper into bliss, and deeper insights come. So it becomes a gradual path of ever-increasing mindfulness, stillness, happiness, and insight. And that's our path. Now, having given you the quick overview, and please remember, it's the winds of wanting, that is what keeps the leaf moving. That's what keeps, the water being agitated. We have to somehow find a way of not wanting things, so we can sit here content, at peace. Remember peace of mind? Now, peace of mind is not something you can aspire to. I'm going to be peaceful today. No, you can't do it in the future. It has to be now. Peace of mind only exists right now. So, as I mentioned last night, one of the first trainings in this retreat is present moment awareness, just being here. And there's so many exercises which you can do, not just when you're sitting down, but on the walking meditation path, when you're in the toilet, when you're urinating, remember, be there. Don't go sort of thinking about the meaning of life when you're supposed to be urinating, otherwise you make a mess. This is the toilet bowl. Be there with whatever's happening. Feel it fully, and don't try and get rid of the, I've got to sort of go to lunch if I don't get off the pan quickly, or the best food will be gone. Don't ever think like that. Just spend the time and be with whatever you happen to be doing. And when it comes to eating, present moment awareness when you're having your lunch or your breakfast. What we do, and you can notice yourself doing this, you may notice other people doing it, a lot of times that, say, a person has a morsel of food in their mouth, they're chewing it, and say they're eating with a spoon. There's another piece of food on the spoon waiting next in line. And there's another one heaped up on their plate. And they're also just messing around with their food somewhere else, heaping morsel number 4 or number 5. Have you ever noticed when you're eating, you're always 1, 2, 3, 4 spoonfuls ahead of yourself? Have a look at people when they're eating. What's in their mouth they're not paying attention to. They're paying attention not even what's on their spoon waiting next. They're paying attention to what's going to come 3 or 4 times in the future. So please, your training on this retreat, when you are eating your breakfast or your lunch, 1 spoon at a time. So, maybe you pick up some sort of noodles. Maybe, did you have noodles this morning? No noodles, I'm sorry, all the people from Asia. Never mind, I can try and get you some from somewhere. You probably got some in your suitcase anyway. But suppose you're having I don't know what you're having, say a spoon of cornflakes or something. You pick up the spoon of cornflakes and you put it in your mouth and you crunch it, swallow it, masticate it, whatever you do, and you don't look into the bowl for the next one you're going to have. And you don't put it on your spoon waiting in turn. Wait until you've swallowed and then you look what I'm going to have next. And then maybe you have a bit of toast and you pick up the piece of toast and you bite it. You don't look down, the baked beans which are left. No, just one bite of toast and you swallow that before you even think what you're going to eat next. See if you can do that. Number one, it makes you aware of what you're doing and just shows you just how in ordinary things of life, like eating, you're always ahead of yourself. You're not in the moment. And it also means that when you are eating, you're actually tasting the food. And it's pretty delicious food, which means if you're really tasting it, you will find more saliva, more bile, more whatever else comes out of the glands inside of your digestive tracts, get secreted, so you will have much better digestion when you're paying attention to the flavors and the taste of the food which you eat. And it's also a great method of practicing mindfulness, so when you come in here, you're ahead of the game already. You're not always, just thinking in the future. And also, you will find that, when you're on this meditation retreat, you spend a lot of time sitting here, you spend a lot of time maybe on the walking meditation paths, but most of the time on this retreat, you'll be spending in what I call the in-between moments. You've left the hall and you're going to the toilet, but you haven't arrived yet. How much of life is wasted in the in-between moments of our lives? We've left one place, we haven't arrived at our destination yet, we waste time on the way. So that when you leave this room, even when you stand up, you're aware of where you are. And you are mindful of the in-between moments. When you leave here, before you get into your room, you're always in this moment. You're not ever going anywhere. You are being here. There's a story which I wrote in Good Bad Who Knows about one of our friends over in town. He was an ex-monk, and I was busy carrying some papers in our Nolamara centre, because I always have to do admin as well. There's all sorts of things a monk has to do these days. And so I was carrying all these papers, and he happened to see me being busy, and he said, "How's it going, Ajahn Brahm?" And I said a standard phrase which many people use, and I said, "I'm getting there." And that's when he caught me out. He said, "Where is it exactly you're getting to?" And I thought, I've been busted. And I was honest enough. And I said, "I'm getting to the cemetery, that's where I'm getting to at this rate. And that's where everyone is going to. That's where we all end up." But I realized that I was not being aware. And I was being stupid. So these days, when people ask me, "How are you?" I never say I'm getting there. I prefer to say I'm being here. It's much better when people ask you, "How are you?" You're not going anywhere. You're being here. You're on the journey. You're not at the destination, ever. So on this retreat, this is being in the present moment. Please be here. Be on the journey. Don't be at the destination. And then you know what it means to be here. Number one, when you start to create such amazing present moment awareness, when you're actually here, it's amazing what you find out in the in-between moments of your life. That's actually where most of life happens, and that's where the action is. That's where enlightenment happens. Not the destination, but on the journey. Right here, right now. On the way. Being here. So see if you can remember that. Try and be here as much as possible in this retreat and stop going somewhere. So if ever I catch you and say, "Where are you going to?" If you say to the toilet, bad meditator. You're not going to the toilet, you're being on the way. You say, I'm on the way. But I'm not there yet. So at least you're mindful of where you are. And it also means that, that you have all of this stress of having, to carry along the burden of not just being here, of where you're going to get to next or where you just come from. Life is far too stressful. And you have so many things you have to be concerned about, or what happened in the past, or what will happen in the future, and that's just too much. So the only thing you need to be concerned about over the next 8 days is just being here. Everything else is taken care of for you. Yeah, if you're at work, you have to sort of make sure you get to appointments, but you have no appointments for the next 8 days. I am your PA, and I have cancelled all of your appointments. So you don't have to get to any sort of meeting at any time. So no stress at all. You've got no deadlines, nothing to actually to worry about for the future. You know there's going to be a nice lunch there for you. You don't even have to worry about where am I going to eat today, what am I going to eat, who am I going to go with for lunch. It's there for you. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry about the dinner. There isn't any, so just forget about it. You don't have to worry about it. It's all there for you. And this is an incredible thing on a retreat. You just have nothing to do at all. Yeah, you've got a few jobs you have to do, but when you want to do them, it's up to you. You may have a job to clean out the toilets. You can clean them any time of the day, all night if you want. You want to do it 2 o'clock in the morning, that's fine by me as long as they get done. So you've got no stress. So the whole place over here, I've said no bells on this retreat, so you don't have any stress. You know how stressed it is. You wake up, there's supposed to be a bell at 5 o'clock, and it's 4:45. Should I have a snooze or should I get up? That's just really stressful. There is no bells. So you just take a snooze if you like and get up if you like. Totally relaxed and free. You don't have to. I'm not going to take reports like they do at school. Say, are you present, and put you in detention if you miss 3 morning chantings in a row. We don't do that sort of stuff. That's more stress for you. So you are in a stress-free situation because the future you've got nothing to do. And it also means that please don't add stress onto yourself. My job is to take it off you. And I take it off you, and then you add up more yourself. Okay, I'm going to meditate for the next hour. I'm going to get enlightened to this retreat. All these retreats I've been to before, this one is going to be the one. I'm going to really go for it this time. Oh, come on. Don't stress out by giving yourselves goals to achieve. Remember, there's no destinations on this retreat. No goals to achieve. Again, Ajahn Chah would teach us so many times until it was drummed into us. You meditate not to attain things. You meditate to let go of things. Totally different attitude. And if you come here to try and attain something, you're just going to get stress and suffering. You're not here to attain anything, okay? Not to get enlightened, not to get jhanas. You're here to let go of things. To see how much you can let go. Not how many more things you can get. You've already got enough. So let go more. And that is the way of meditation. So when we do that, there's nothing to attain, nowhere to go. It's very difficult at first. Simply because people love it. This is stage 1 of meditation, okay? Stage 1, present moment awareness, and then, yes, I can tick that one off. Yes, I've done that. Now, silent or present moment awareness. And you work. Yes, I've got that. I'm on stage 2. And then you go and talk to your friend and say, stage 2. I was on stage 2 the first minute. I'm on stage 6 now. All these stages, you can see what they do to you. They cause more stress, more desires, no more ego, just more jealousies and guilt when you don't get anywhere. No stages, nothing to attain. Just see how much you can disappear and let go. And this is why present moment awareness. No future, what's there to attain? It's just being here. Finding out what it's like to be here with nothing to achieve, nothing to attain, nowhere to go, just to be. Then all these incredible things which you read about in meditation, they just come to you. They just happen when you are still. And the last little teaching about stillness before I go on to more exercises so you can be still is my master's one of his best, I'll probably put my hand up and say it's his best simile ever, which didn't understand when I first told it to me, but it's just one of the greatest similes of meditation that I ever know about. He said his monastery was the mango orchard. This was in northeast Thailand. There weren't any mango trees in his monastery. I thought my teacher was being crazy. And then he carried on by saying the mango trees were planted by the Buddha himself. And I thought he's really gone crackers, my master. So they're planted by the Buddha himself, and now those mango trees are full of thousands of ripe, juicy, sweet mangoes, all planted by the Buddha in Ajahn Chah's monastery. And he said, you monks are so lucky. Now I'd say, because he was talking to the monks, you nuns, you laymen, laywomen are so lucky, because you don't need to climb the tree to get a mango. You don't need to throw a stick up to get the mango to fall. You don't even need to shake the tree. All you need to do to get a mango from the Buddha is sit perfectly still under the mango tree and open up your hand. If you sit still and open up your hand, a mango will fall. That's the only way it comes. And I thought, just how crazy can you be? Have you seen a mango tree? Have you just opened up a hand and one's fallen into it? You'd have to wait for hours, probably days, before one fell. And if it did fall, where would it usually fall? On your head, probably. Not in your hand. But that was a beautiful simile for what meditation is. Your job is to sit perfectly still. Open up your heart. And all of these so-called, I mentioned so-called stages of meditation, they just fall into you. You don't do anything. They come to you. And that is how meditation works. So if you're going to be sitting still, you've got to be in this moment, first of all. So we have walking meditation rooms. So how do you do walking meditation? You stand at one end, walk to the end, turn around and walk back again. That's it. Can you do that? No, you can't. Think, what am I supposed to do? Give me something to do. Don't do anything, just walk. And one of the great things I like about walking meditation is you don't get anywhere. Isn't that wonderful to do something where you don't get anywhere? Because wherever you start, you turn around, you end up where you started from. Just like life. You know, you start off life with nappies with no teeth and no hair. And when you end life, no teeth. Wearing nappies because you're incontinent, no hair. You end up just where you started from. It's a beautiful life. You know, all the things which you learned, how clever you were, you didn't know anything when you were a kid and you forget it all when you're old. So you just become around full circle. That's a wonderful thing about old age. But, same with the walking meditation. You start off at the beginning, you go to the end, you turn around, you come back again. Always in the present moment. So don't even worry about the next step. Don't even worry about the next movement. Just wonder about the movement of walking right now. And again, have this beautiful sense of wonder. All these feelings and sensations in the muscles of your feet and legs as you are walking. What does it feel like to walk, to actually be here? To be able to experience the sensation of the carpets on your bare feet. It's amazing. And what it does, it brings you into the present moment, one step at a time, keeping it very simple. And that's exactly what you do when you meditate. You sit down and stay in the present moment, just wondering about all the amazing things which are happening right now. There's always something happening now. Be aware of it. Now that is the best for the meditation. However, it's just too difficult for many of you to do. So in order to give you a little bit of a crutch, a little bit of a Zimmer frame of meditation, so you can support yourself until you can walk on your own 2 feet, is we have all these little techniques. So when you're doing your walking meditation, you can even say to yourself, left foot moving, right foot moving, left foot moving, right foot moving, as you go from the beginning to the end, turning around, coming back again. You can go a bit deeper and just feeling all the different sensations of your feet as they are moving. See if you can find out what part of your foot leaves the carpet first. And what leaves last of all? What's the last to break contact with the carpet when you're walking? And as the foot, it raises up. Does it go vertically up? Does it go to the side slightly or back slightly? How does it actually rise up above the ground? And when it reaches the top, then what does it do? Does it go straight? Or does it go at a curve, an angle? How do you move? And what does it feel like in the legs as you are walking? And when the foot starts to touch the ground, again, what touches first? What does it feel like? Maybe your toe touches it first, or the toe feels the carpet. What's that like? Start to become sensitive to all the movements and sensations in just one step. And just like I said with the walking up the hillside, once you start to be aware of these things and to slow down, it's incredible how much is going on there. That hillside, which I thought I knew, I didn't know at all. But once I stopped and started to notice, it's incredible what's out there. Once you start to walk, it's incredible, all the sensations of just one step. Thousands of them. And they're all really, actually quite fascinating. And just to feel the carpet on your feet. Please take your socks off when you're doing walking meditation so you can feel things. And if that doesn't work, and you get a bit tired or a bit dull, go out into the nature, feel the wind, take off all those blankets and jackets and stuff, and just feel the cold. If it does rain, get wet. This is not a very cold climate. You're not going to get flu and pneumonia. You're not going to die here. So feel nature instead of always insulating yourself from it. Take your shoes off and walk on the concrete so you can actually feel the hard texture of the concrete, in this area here. Because when you start to feel, you become awake. You're mindful. You're in this moment. There's so much happening. Even listen to all the amazing sounds. You thought there was no sound at all. Listen. The birds. There they go again. Slight sound of the birds. When you open up your ears, it's amazing what you can hear. That also brings you into this present moment. So when you're doing walking meditation, you begin to notice all the feelings in the legs as you are walking. And when you are sitting down, instead of actually watching the walking, what you can do is to watch your breathing in the present moment. To get into the present moment first of all, and then just watch the breath go in and go out, just like the left foot moving, the right foot moving. Now you're watching your breath going into your body and leaving the body. And how many different sensations are there? What does it feel like when the breath first starts to come into your body? Is it the same feeling all the way in to the very end of the in-breath, or does that sensation change? Find out. Does it get more intense, faster, slower? What does it feel like? And once the breath has gone in, Does the breath immediately go out, or is there a pause? What happens in that pause when the breath has stopped going in and you haven't begun to exhale yet? What's happening? And then just feel the breath come out of your body and just see how it comes out, all in one big rush, where it comes out slowly and then almost exhausted itself, and then the last little bit comes out at the very end. And is there a gap between the out-breath and the next in-breath? Become aware of these very simple things. And as you focus on this, you're becoming into the present moment. Because the only way you can notice these things is coming right here, right now. You're being here. And because, this is a little trick, because you're not doing very much, you're not worrying about the future and all these problems which you have in life, because you're not worried and burdened with the past, you feel so free and so light, so peaceful. There's nothing much your brain is actually doing. It's just being in this present moment, which means you're getting a degree of stillness. Not totally still, but far more still than you've had before, which means you get a boost of energy. Mindfulness gets stronger, and the happiness starts to come. And it's amazing. Sometimes you can be walking meditation there as happy as can be. Now, sometimes people who do sitting meditation, they just can't get it simply because they don't know how to relax their body. But when they do the walking meditation, it's very relaxing. You all know how to walk. You just walk naturally, not too fast, not too slow. Please, I know that in some meditation traditions they try and do slow walking meditation. You know, in Bodhinyana Monastery we nickname that zombie meditation. Because, you know, there's lots of zombie movies now. You know zombies? They walk really slowly, just like meditators. Because a kid came here once during a retreat. You know, his parents were bringing dana, bringing the food for you. And this kid saw all these people doing walking meditation slowly. He said, "Mummy, there's zombies!" in the retreat centre. Because that's what they look like, you know, walking slowly. So we call that zombie meditation, just for a joke. So, you can walk fast, you can walk slow, walk naturally. Don't force it. Just make it just natural so you feel comfortable when you're walking. That's the same when you're sitting. Sit, you know, comfortably. And if you are watching your breath, the natural breath, don't try and make it a special breath. And I have to tell you, when you do observe your breath, you don't have to watch it at the tip of the nose or your belly or anywhere. This is not belly meditation. It's not nose meditation. It is breath meditation. And if you want to know what I mean, I ask people who've never meditated before, close your eyes, breathe in and out 3 times. After the 3rd breath, open your eyes, but remember to keep breathing as well. So they breathe in and out 3 times, they open their eyes, and they all can do that. And that's when I ask them, how did you know you'd breathe in and out 3 times? What told you that? And there is a sensation, a feeling, some information which they could know. In-breath finished, now the out-breath. Out-breath finished, now the in-breath. You can know that. How do you know that? That is what you watch. That which tells you what the breath is doing. And it's not always at the tip of the nose. It's not at the belly. It can be any place. As long as you know breath is going in. You know the breath has gone out. That's all. So that is what we do for watching the breath. So we watch the breath, and it's quite naturally, let it come in, know as many feelings as you possibly can. Now again, some people have difficulty watching the breath at first. You know, after a while in this retreat, it gets easier and easier and easier because your mindfulness gets stronger and you get more relaxed, more peaceful. So if you can't do it the first day, don't worry about that. It will come to you later on. No problem at all, just because you need to relax a bit more. But if you have trouble watching the breath or doing the walking meditation, instead of just saying walking left, right, or breathing in, out, we can make it more interesting for you. Which is one of the reasons that why When we do the walking meditation, you can say a word as you do your left step. And as you do your right step, another word. Instead of left, right, because that's boring. As you move your left foot, the first left step, you say to yourself, I will die. And your right step, that's for sure. I will die. That's for sure. That's really interesting. It certainly wakes you up. I will die. Now you're laughing at first, and that's what you will do. I will die, that's for sure. This is stupid. I will die, that's for sure. Just keep going. Because after you go through the joke period, the next stage is you realize, hang on, this is actually quite true. Of all the things I hear in religion, that's something I can actually trust as an absolute truth. You know, Nibbana, God, jhanas, reincarnation, some people doubt that, but this you don't need to doubt. You will die. Say, oh God, I'm going to die. I will die, that's for sure. I will die. Oh, carry on. Because once you go through the fear stage, you got joke, then fear stage, and it does come up. Once you go through that, you think, I'll die, that's for sure. What am I being all this attached to all this stuff for? I'm going to die anyway. So what am I worried about? Well, I'm worried about bushfires down the road, worried about finances, worried about cancers or diet. You know, I love telling this story, there was a guy I went to see at Murdoch Hospice, this old Yorkshire guy, and as soon as he went into the hospice, the St John of God Hospice in Murdoch, you know, he had cancers and diabetes and all this other stuff, and his doctor said, well, you're going to die soon anyway, so forget about your diet, what do you want to eat? He said, what do you mean? I can eat anything? He said, of course you can. You're going to die, so you don't have to worry about diabetes and cholesterol. You've got cancer. So he said, okay, great. And so for the first time in 3 or 4 years, he could eat whatever he wanted. Greasy food, as much sugar and salt and everything else which he ever wanted. Because he was going to die anyway. And he was enjoying himself eating for the first time in years without people telling him, this is bad for you. You can eat that, but don't eat that. He was eating such good food, which he really enjoyed, he got better. And he left the hospice and said, well, you know, you're not sick, you're not dying anymore if you go home. Of course, you know, he died later on, you know, but, you know, just eating what he liked, you know, cured him. No, there's something to be said about that. What's going, because, you know, he's going to die anyway, so you know, eat whatever you like. But anyway, so you're going to die anyway. I will die, that's for sure. What am I worried about all these things for? Why am I anxious? I'm going to die anyway, so what the hell? You get to letting go. You know, all this stuff you're worried about in the future and other stuff you're concerned about, you know you're going to die, so you let go. And then after you go through fear, you go through this incredible sense of peace. You've let go. Why am I worried about the future? It's going to die anyway. Well, the past, you know, all the past, all the stuff which I've achieved and done, no one's going to remember you or me in 100 years' time. They won't want to know who the hell you were. You know, you have hardly any record left except some stupid historian who just, you know, hasn't got a life and just researches, you know, all these weird things which happened in Western Australia such a long time ago, even if there is a Western Australia in 100 years' time, but we're all going to be forgotten. Isn't that lovely? I'm going to leave without a trace. No one would know I was here. I quite like that idea. In other words, when you know I will die, that's for sure, you can let go of everything. So that's the next thing. When you, I will die, that's for sure. Yeah, it's a joke. Then you go through fear, and you keep on going until you go to letting go. And you get so peaceful and so lovely, and have a wonderful time. So that's what you can do when you're doing the walking meditation. If you're doing the sitting meditation, I will die, that's for sure, it's very hard for you to maintain that. So I prefer something a bit more positive. If you're doing your sitting meditation and you breathe in, you can say to yourself, breathing in peace. Breathe in something you want to get into your body. If you're really sick, breathe in health. If you're really poor, breathe in money. No, don't do that. That won't work. But whatever it is, breathe in something positive which is good for you, like health, happiness, peace. Breathe in something, if you're really tired, breathing energy. And as you breathe out something negative. Breathe out all my past. Breathe out all my fear. Breathing out. Breathe out sort of negativity. So breathe in something positive. Like I say, breathe in peace. Breathe out, let go. So as I'm breathing in, I say to myself, peace. And I imagine myself breathing in peace. And as I breathe out, let go. Whatever I want to let go of, breathe out, let go. And you have to keep doing that for quite a few minutes. Just 2 or 3 times. Breathe in, peace, breathe out, let go, peace, let go, peace, let go. Nothing's happening. Of course it won't. It needs time. So do that for at least 4 or 5 minutes. Breathing in, peace. Breathe out, let go. And as you say these words, it's not just words. Imagine what peace is. What is peace? What is health? What is energy? Feel it. The words are just signposts. Feel it. And feel sort of breathing in sort of health or breathing in energy. Feel it. Imagine it. And then breathe out whatever, you may have a cancer or something. Breathe out the tumour. And imagine it just disappearing out of you. Breathing in peace. Breathing out tumour. Breathing in peace. And don't worry, if you're breathing it out, other people won't breathe it in. So you don't have to worry you're spreading your tumour around to all the other people in this room. It doesn't work that way. So breathing in peace, breathing out, let go, whatever it is. And that way you will find that it makes a breath meditation that little bit more interesting. And again, it's just a little bit of a trick. It gives a nice free gift of getting rid of cancers and getting some peace and happiness and energy in your heart. But the main thing is so you start focusing on something simple. And when you focus on something simple and keep your mind on this for long enough, after a while you can really settle down, and then you can start doing things like watching the breath without needing any of these crutches. You can walk meditation without needing to sort of worry about what you're supposed to be watching. You're just in the moment, peaceful and enjoying every moment. So these are just ways to get you into this meditation at the beginning. And so to sum up, present moment awareness was the most important to begin with. And all the different things you can do. You're on the toilet, be on the toilet. Don't be trying to get rid of this quickly so you can go somewhere else. Where you are is the most important place to be. The in-between moments when you're walking somewhere, don't be at the destination. You're not getting anywhere, you're being here. That's what you're supposed to be trying to do. When you're eating, 1 spoon at a time, don't be too much above yourself, in front of yourself. It's a training, it's a hard thing to do. But after a while you get it and it becomes much more enjoyable, more peaceful. You're doing your walking meditation, start at the beginning, walk to the end, turn around again. Be aware of the feelings in your feet. See what part of the foot moves first, what last. And do maybe a bit of the chanting, I will die, that's for sure. Or, walking peace, walking whatever. Say something when you're walking to yourself in order to be able to focus. When you're doing the breath meditation, breathing in peace, breathe out, let go. Those little things get you involved in the meditation. And little by little your mind will start to get involved in the meditation and let go of all of that stuff of the past and all that stuff of the future, which is the first 2 major obstacles to peaceful meditation. As far as all the thinking is concerned, please understand that all the thoughts and thinking which you have, I will give a talk about that mostly tomorrow, but most of the thinking is all about stuff of the past and the future. If you can just deal with the past and the future first of all and let those go, there's nothing much to think about in this present moment. So you can't really get too lost in thoughts. But the thinking is something which I'm going to be talking about and addressing in tomorrow morning's talk. Last little piece of advice, remember this is the first real day of the meditation retreat, so please take a rest if you need to take a rest. Don't just go hell for leather, on this first day of the retreat. Take rest, lots of juices. If you want to take a walk around the property, you can take a walk around. Just to exercise and enjoy the place and just settle in. And if you can do a little bit of walking meditation, sitting meditation, please do so. You can walk in many, many places in this compound. You can sit so many different places. You can sit again on the stupas, in these rooms, in your huts, in your rooms, wherever you wish to sit, you're most welcome there. And I should say, and it is a very good thing, for those of you who want to have a walk over to Bodhinyana Monastery, just it's very close by, it's about 15 minutes walk. The hall in there is an excellent place to meditate. It's got good energy. So those of you who feel meditating in this hall is a bit dull, you've got no energy, have a walk over to Bodhinyana Monastery. And the main hall over there is brilliant energy for meditating in. So you can go and meditate there if you wish as well. So you've got all these incredible facilities, all for you. And you're most welcome to be able to do that.